All right. And again, it's at a couple now. I mean, we've done a lot of talking, and we haven't. I think we hit 4 shots.
That's okay. Whatever it takes, like I said. I want you to be my psychologist more than anything.
Really good. Really good. Bring those hands back too. Like so. Yes, that's the whole club back. You see what I mean? Like you. I said pull the hands back, and you went pull everything back. Watch this.
It's more like straight.
Yeah, you're very that is from this.
Yeah.
They match. They're just extreme. There. Up a bit higher. So start again. T-ball style. Good. There, and then service it slowly. Lower. Good. And then I'm just gonna push the hand up back. Just there. Here we go. So that's that. That goes. That's towards the target, and your hands go away from the target. Was that grunt in pain, or was that?
Just the motion.
Okay. But no spasm.
No. I've been doing this for years.
We need. I need you to feel like you're hitting all of these balls, right? That's how much we've got to angle the club this way through the ball, so we can get all 4 of them. You're barely getting the first one. That's why our angle's not quite right, and that's because of your setup. Obviously, I put you this far in front, right? So the club is definitely turning up now. That was the same shot as before, except the ball's further away from you. So what I'm asking you to do now is, instead of giving you what I want you to do, I want you to channel your inner problem solver, and I want you to figure out how you're going to get the club into a position where it's still going down low through impact, not up and up.
I gotta come.
Don't go that way. It's not that way. It's this way. I'm not worried about what goes away from the ball. I'm more concerned with yeah. Alright, much better. So look at the zipper. Yep. So take this left hand off. Keep this one on. Down there. Gently. I know this is going to hold today. Don't then this one might have to come down a little bit. There, because I want this left arm straight. There. And now really try to see, you're moving the whole unit. Yeah. I want you to try to, or you're gonna have to drop the ball way back in your stance.
Let's try it with it back and see if we get it.
Okay. We've got to get the club angling downwards, not firing through. So that ball's still far, so you have to move your feet. That's middle of your stance. If we're gonna do this properly, if you can't do it with your left side bend, now I'm gonna compromise with you early. Right? Because there's no way I can put the ball forward with you tilted like this and get you any near the ball to my ball.
Tilted again?
Yeah.
I think it's just the way my body wants to go.
So we have to drop our ball back. At least with this club, we've got to.
Let me see if we can do it this way. From here, I'm struggling with the hand position. So if it's in the middle, properly lined up here.
That's okay. Assume you are. Okay. Assume you are, right? We can always fix it. That's that's low hanging fruit.
Tilt.
Yep.
Down.
Yep. And I want you to hit this. I want you to hit the golf ball and that leaf. Okay. Barely got to the golf ball. Right? So you're working. As you're hitting the ball, you're working away from the target. We're gonna get some real high compression on this.
Should this be at my
Yep.
Here? Okay.
Ballpark belt buckle, just ahead of belt buckle is fine. That's way too far forward. That's how you were when I first got here. Shimmy your feet like this now. Shimmy this way. Ball back in, at least in the middle. There you go. Better. Now put some more pressure on your left foot. There you go. More. There you go. Good. Closer. Closer. So I'm going to play with your setup a little bit. This is creative. This is not made necessarily the only way we're ever going to do it. We're going to find a way to get that club to go into the ball like that. Not that way. Good. Shimmy a centimeter to the target more with your feet, not towards me, towards the target. There you go. Good. Now, extra pressure, 60% pressure on your left foot. Good. Better.
Still out of it, but that contact.
Better. be who he is. I'll do that. Now I want you to do a backswing, right? No go ball. No go. We'll set up to one then. Okay? And I want you to do a backswing. Good. Now I want you to pick your left leg up and elevate it. So you see how you lean back to do it? So I want you to find a way to get from here and just to like just elevate it. Good. Now stamp down as you follow through. You see where you just went? You see that lets you go there. That's weight shift. You're getting to here and because you're already pre-tilted this way, you turn and then return, like reset back to where you started and all your weight's back here. Okay? So the setup is going to do about 30-40% of it, and then your ability to go is going to finish the job. Alright? Do a couple practice swings to that first. Get really familiar with that. And good. Set up the best of your ability. I'm not obsessed about it. Pick the foot up in the backswing, stamp it on the follow through. Stamp and go. Beautiful. You see where you're going? There was almost a brush over here. Did you hear that? Alright. Pick it up. Stamp. Hear that sound?
It's got to be at the right spot to get the ball like down through it.
So here's what's crazy about golf, right? Is we learn young how to catch, throw and catch, right? And then when we get a bit older, some things, team sports involve throwing quickly, catching quickly, like baseball, whatever, right? Any type of ball sport, we learn how to move it around. Even lacrosse, right? Do things quickly, right? And I've never played baseball, I've never played lacrosse, but I've watched a little bit of it, and I've never seen a player go pick up a loose ball in lacrosse, picks it up, and then steps and throws. Right? Or even an under, like a side one, right? They'll pick it up and step and throw. A pitch has never ever gone fastball. Never seen anyone do it. So if we're transferring energy, that's critical. In golf, what makes golf so complicated is we've got to get a ball off a ground into the sky. So adult logic is, I've got to help it up. But they give you all this equipment which has a ton of technology in it, hence the stupid price tags, right? Of engineering to help elevate the golf ball. I say this very loosely because this is sarcasm at the same time. All we have to do is deliver good contact. So to get good contact, I've got to move better and let the club do the work. So now you're going to hit the step curl with a couple of golf shots, right? Now this is going to be a mixed bag. It could be the greatest shots, it could be the worst shots, but I still want to have some fun with this. It's really going to distinguish your sequence. Hear the sound? Yeah, but do you hear the sound?
Yeah, it sounds
I've never heard the mat after the ball.
right.
I don't care where the ball goes. That sound is like it's suddenly now real good music. We can tighten that up. Alright? Try not to drift away too much on your right. As you pick it up, don't think that you've got to float right. Just pick it up like this. Just pick it up. There you go. Just pick it up. Stamp on it. It doesn't have to go with this. We're not trying to sway either. I just want you to make sure you're pressing left as you're accelerating. At least at this point. Okay, you're going back with a little Happy Gilmore style. Maybe do a little chip shot. Try to do a chip shot. That's it. Let's stand in front. So you're doing a little bit of this. It's going to be very difficult for me to get back to the ball now because I've drifted.
You just went straight up.
Watch this. I'm just trying to stay on top of this. Yeah. Shorten your swing if you have to so it doesn't go too far. Yeah. Do it again. Yeah. We can do better than that too though, I know again. See that? See pushing out of the way? I don't want you to go away from the ball. Straight up and down. Maybe I need something heavier than a sticker. There it is. You hear the sound? Yeah. Now, do I want you doing this crazy little like hop, skip, and a jump? Of course not. But just because your feet are on the ground though, imagine there's a weighing scale. There you go. Now can we do it? What goes like that? saw how low I just hit it. So I'm trying to, like, all of this is going to feel like the ball's not going to go in the air. I promise you. Push that gas pedal. There's a strike. Now do it without picking it up, is what I'm saying. Really just feel like you just really get all your body weight onto it, or as much as you are comfortable with it. Press down. Press. Press. There's the strike. There it is. That's a real crisp ball. Oh yeah. Now I'm taking my eye off aim because that's low hanging fruit. By the way. Alignment is the easiest thing in the world to fix. You have to trust this process here. Yeah, 3 divots after the ball in a row. And not only that, the ball leaves the club quickly. And this is why the pros look so good, right? Is they get really fast ball speed off the club, but when it lands like a bag of sand.
Yo.
You know what I mean?
Proper spin.
Because it's like that one's getting to the green, that's going 150 and then dying.
Yeah.
It's not 150 and bouncing, which was what your strikes were going to do before.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Now you can excite. You graduate. No, I just got my vibrating left and right.
We have an hour.
We have an hour. We're golden.
Is this still setting up here at the belt buckle?
Now everything we've worked on hard, right? I've taken loft off and the club's got longer. Your requirement to do this and drop it back is diluted because there's less loft and the club's longer. So I can be shallower through the ball and more picky through the ball as is. Good news. Bad news is I still don't want to hit it at the bottom. So even though the requirement is less with setup, my move through the ball is still there. So now it's less about this, but a lot more about this. Yes. Yeah. It's
Now,
very much.
Can this be played forward?
Yeah, but there's a limit, right? Because it's still not the same length as your fairway wheels at driver. So you can't go too far forward.
A little bit front of center?
Yeah, definitely. In my list, and this is not the Bible, there are 3 categories: lob wedge, sand wedge, pitching wedge, gap wedge, middle, 987, 6 to hybrids, and then like 6 to fairways, and then driver. So, but these 2 are almost like
So this is your wedges.
short stuff, middle stuff, long stuff, and then driver because it's teed up. So 3 real categories. I'll get back. But we don't hit this in the. I don't care if there's less loft. If you strike it well, it's going up. So strike it. Beautiful. All day.
Yeah, take that all day. I can do that on second shot on 2.
Yeah, I bet.
Or 3.
And that's, by the way, that's just tip of the iceberg. Like this is I just proposed this little like movement for you. This is not. That's not the end game. That's just the exciting part of the start of it. That's a strike. See how like the first one was just okay, but that one was much better.
It sounded.
You just picked Mike Schwab's spot, so that's what that like.
So,
What's that? I heard it. So this is not rocket science, right? Everything you described to me at the start, none of it conflicted. Like if you said 4 words that are all from the same family of mistakes. You said early strikes, thins, hooks, blocks. All of that screams in to out. All of that screams low point too early. Right? So
and that tilt was making it worse.
now our setup can move an awful lot of this back into position and be there or thereabouts.
Well, instead of being here, I get it. Like instead of being here,
Right.
I'm already here. The convertible is out.
It's not a good move.
No.
Then stop and kill zone.
Don't
Don't take the convert out.
What are the clubs? 5 woods, hybrids.
So I have a bunch of different stuff. I don't even know what I need.
Do you
so.
have a? Do you? Is your spidey sense telling you though that we may have solved the root cause here? So, but let's hit some hybrids and prove it. I'm not going to change the lesson statement for the day. Now we've got to figure out which ones you want to hit. That's a bit too low for what I'm looking for now. It's a great club, but I want to try something that's a bit more fairway, like height driven.
This is a 5.
Which ones do you have? Is that no other hybrids in the bag? 5 would be fine. Is this a 5 wood?
Yeah.
All right. What's this one?
This is a 7.
7. Hit that one. Even better. I just want something where you have to compress. Something where you have to keep making this move. If I go 3 wood, you're not. It's important, but like you're gonna be able to, maybe get away with it.
Same concept.
Nothing is changing at this point, except ball position, and even your pivot. Right, like you can still, because the ball's further forward. I expect your eyes to be behind the ball a little bit. So don't fight the tilt here, because the ball's up now. I have a problem with that tilt if the ball's in the middle. Because if the ball's in the middle and you're like this is weird, right? But if the ball's up in your stance and you have a tilt, I have no problems with it because it's natural. So don't fight it too hard. You just stand up comfortably. But I need, this is in the when you're driving now. This is your gas pedal, and you have to pressure this one, not the back foot.
If I do something like this is wild, but that's too much.
Yeah, but in motion, try to do it as you're ramping up, like you're about to throw the pitch. Okay, not enough. Well, not enough is the right kind of it. So people often mistake this move, by the way, for they lean. They just lean like this. Yeah. So like if you were to cut me in half like those magicians back in the day. My legs, right? I'm always going to pressure that left side, but I'm not. But the easy way for me to do it is to just lean like this. This is going to put me right on top of the ball. I don't want to chop down on it, right? So I need to find. You see this tilt here? I need to keep my eyes behind the ball. Look. You see how I'm pressuring, but I'm not moving this. That's your challenge here. Is to pressure forward, but keep your eyes back. All right. There it is. There it is. That's a golf shot. And think, and if for somebody who plays and is going to be playing, Wednesday, Thursday, are you captain Canada again? You resigned that role?
It's too hard. I got asked to play a couple of teams. There's a couple of offers.
Are you playing?
I'm not playing right now. I'm in Survivor.
Okay, so you're going to be competitive, right? You need to think on the fly is when do I need to pressure left and be over the ball? Or when do I need to pressure left and be behind the ball?
When would you be behind on driver?
3 wood driver,
Oh, the longer
3 wood,
ones you can be
5 wood, 7 wood. You have to keep your eyes behind the ball almost every shot. Almost
So
every
with the
shot.
wedge, you're really coming.
Because your low point is designed to be in front because there's a stupid amount of loft on the ground.
This way you can pressure.
The amount of players that aren't trained to play this game and they're strong men and they hit their lob wedge 60 yards because they don't understand low point and compression, right? They're just hitting at 60 as hard as they can from the wrong position and it's going to the moon, assuming they get under the ball. Or they hit like those chunky sort of, or chunky verse or skull second, right? Any one of those 3. So once you control your low point, and it's designed by the length of the club and the loft of the club, driver's already teed up, so I don't have to worry about getting this into the air, but I do have to worry about being behind the club and launch it into the air. So that's where my eyes are back. But you don't think for a second that I ever pressure back. No force ever goes away from the ball and away from the target because there's no hit there.
Sometimes you see I've done it before.
Everybody. It's so, because again, I don't know where it comes from, but if it's the first time playing a golf ball, you see that on the ground and you want it up there. Logic tells you to do that.
Yeah.
Golf is not that. In fact, I'll tell you a story how I learned as a kid. They wouldn't let me on the course. I was addicted to the game. I was playing young. I got my first ever score was 128, so terrible, right? I still have the 2 score plans. I have my first round 128 and my course record 63. It's still on the board. So I have both of them side by side, and one couldn't have happened without the other. With that being said, when I was 10, they said to me, you can't go on the course until you get one over the tree height. So I said, so I'm like this. I'm there, trying to that ball in the air. And one of the assistant pros walked out to me and said, "Go for a walk." Right? Now, that's easy food. I grabbed a wedge on purpose because I could exaggerate it. What you will learn then is the in-between bit, which is the skill, is that I can't just get over for the sake of getting over. See that? That's cheating. So you're learning, or that you have to learn or understand how I have to pressure without getting my eyes in front. What the legs do is not necessarily what the eyes do or what the head does. So I got to pressure, always pressure this. But I'm trying to hold my head behind the ball so I strike it straight. That is the practice. It's not so much about position, it's about movement. Now, beyond that, if you strike it well and you're missing the planet, then yeah, we've got to check out the positions and where they're bringing it down. But the moral of this story, if someone's saying I just can't hit it, I got no confidence hitting it, we don't have to look any further than how we're setting it, how we set up to it, how we move through it. This is the bread and butter stuff. Yeah. Do it again? I got no doubt in my mind that if you could do it once, you could do it 10 times. Yeah. I mean, remember, I haven't even checked your alignment. If you're setting up right, you're asking for help.
Yeah.
And the wind's not nice. It's not helping. So you got 3 strikes in a row now. So your gas pedal, you're weak. Gas pedal.
Honestly, all my helmets on this side of my body.
So it's more quality than quantity then. I don't ever want to like test your hernia too much.
No. What, listen, like I said, fishing, keep it fun. We go for the green once in a while. I mean, you get close. I feel pretty good. You help me putt my putting lines. Like just those little things.
Although you got the putter, I didn't recommend.
I apologize. I did whip it again the other day.
Everything.
The Skyrim camera, I used it again the other day.
It wasn't so good.
It was horrible.
Yeah. I mean, I bent it a lot too, so you might look like a woo.
Thank you again for doing what you did.
Yeah.
I really mean that. It's not there. To me, it seems very light as well. It seems like weight-wise.
Sure.
This one, I don't know. It just feels like a mallet. Like
I've
it's
been
down
out there
there.
too. I remember there was a period in my life where I had the superintendent give me sand. I didn't just steal it, but he filled up sand all the way to the top of the shaft.
Make it heavy.
So
You know what's crazy? That probably cost me $80.
yeah, this is a heavy putter for sure.
Yeah, it's decent. I like it.
Definitely heavy. Yeah, I like a heavy putter. It's windy out here too. Sometimes like you don't feel that stable if it's too light.
I'll give the other one a run again. I haven't sold it to anybody or anything. I still have it.
I can adjust the head weight too. I think this is pretty fun. I just feel like when you have a shaft that hard into the hosel, into the heel of a club, your stroke is not arcing as aggressively as that is asking you to do. That's all.
Yeah.
But here's the thing about putting, right? Is we can even with the most optimal fitting, if a player doesn't really look down the barrel of the gun and go, I'm going to nail this.
Yeah, it's natural.
Who cares?
And that's what happens with
Yeah.
that one. Again, he's not the greatest putter out there, but like I hit more than I didn't expect with
Yeah.
no methodology. Because again, I like this. Do this instead of this. That's going on.
Right.
Now I just feel heavier, smoother.
What's incredible is to set up like that. So you have even more separation between your hands here and your shoulders here at level. That's what's crazy. Like you should, when the hand is this much lower than this, should have exceptional tilt. Should, but you have a better shoulder distribution here than with that grip than you do when you grip it conventionally. When you grip it like this, you start to do some quirky things.
It's because I'm dropping
Yeah.
and I'm feeling
Right side.
I'm
Yeah.
feeling comfortable here.
You're chasing what feels good, and that's fine. But you have to, you can associate your symptoms with a compromise, right? We have to just nurture them a little bit into a bit more of a playable places.
Yeah. Want another one here?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, let's do it.
Or do you want to try? How much?
We got 5 7 minutes. I don't even see my 3 o'clock yet, so
You
we're
want to
good.
do a drive real quick?
Look at some drivers if you want to see that. We're hitting the ground. We'll grab a couple of tees for it.
We're short on time here, but I do have a quick question.
Of course, we're good. Go fire away.
Equipment-wise. So, this one I won. It's got all type of brakes.
Yeah, yeah.
Stiff shit.
Yeah.
This one is a regular chair. This is like, you know, for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
This was, you know,
This is heavier and stiffer than this is.
right. Do you have a recommendation?
Well, not from naked eye.
Okay.
I need to see what your ball's doing more. Which one would you gain today? Like,
I've been using this one.
okay, let's start with that one. Yeah, I just want to make sure we do that appropriately. This is more than consent. You could be all that. Yeah, you are tilting off the ball on top of your toe.
So,
In,
like here?
yeah.
So should I do more
So again,
pressure in here?
so that's, I mean, I always have a couple state the obvious here, but I feel like it's the case, so I want to do it again. We've got the longest club and the lowest lofted club in our hands right now. We also have the club with the most technology, and we also have a tee rack. So I'm gonna get this in here. Okay. On top of that, we have our eyes maybe a club head more so behind the ball, and a little tilt here, which is asking my club to swing it up and down. Okay. So before I move a muscle, this ball is going to start a little bit right on my target, go in the air, and turn left before I move. Does that happen to every golfer? No, quite frankly, it's the opposite. They're more likely to kind of hit a low burning slice, right? Most golfers slice the ball low. But you're here, right? And then you do this, right? Do more. See how I struck back here? Yeah, you fall out of it. Okay? So when we chip and when we drive, we have a setup that is trying to ask us to forget about the next bit and just focus on their hit. I want you to only ever focus, just like on that, I want you to pressure and go. I only ever want you to focus on the strike at that point. If you set up appropriately, which you do, this just happens to be natural to you, this is great. Your job is to actually just strike the ball. See, I can't not go in there. I don't need to do any more because my setup, the technology, my tilt, it's already doing it. The only thing I can do wrong is not striking.
So without falling out of it, should be.
You've already tilted. Now, if you were going to start like this, and a lot of people do this, by the way, a lot of people start back here. You absolutely have to do that, but you don't, right? You just have to strike it now, okay?
And again, it's
So just try not to hit it as hard, but just try to get the club to land. You see where it's starting? Pay attention to when you are pressing. It's right behind the ball. And try to just return it into that position. Nothing more. Don't worry about the outcome. See what happens. You'd be surprised. Just returns to sender. Okay? Never quite made it. Club arrived in this position, right?
still get back. I feel
No,
better when I get
no. Watch this. So the club is there. Club is in that position, right? I have to return to sender. Look what I just did with my arm to do that. You don't do that. You go in like this. That's not how you set up. That's not how you set up, but that's how you're delivering. You're going from here into this position.
Oh,
Yeah.
I just have to come back.
You have to try to get throwing the ball. You and I think catch. Am I going to throw it back? Am I going to throw it back? Or am I going to throw it back? You have to let that. You have to let. So that's yeah. And now you have to return that angle. Not with this. Not with this. You have to return. So you have to get it there. See how I'm returning that angle? I'm not going like this. All right. It's not rotation that squares the club. Exclusively. It's, no. Okay, we've got 2 minutes. Let's get this right. So have a couple of rehearsals. I'll mirror you from this side because I'm not going to go past the golf ball. Watch this. So once I get to here, right, I'm going to slow motion rehearse this. How I get to here, look at this angle. You see I'm still holding the club? See, what you do is you turn now. Look at that club. See that? Where's that going to go? Right? Watch how I'm going to do it instead. I'm going to get to this position, so I'm going to get it back to the ball. There. You have to return to sender. Oh. Firstly, let me get out of the way. I'm glad you dropped that. But you have to let go of that angle. You cannot hold that angle forever. There. You have to let go of that angle. Alright? The club is designed to get the ball in the air. You have a tee. You've set up to hit up on the ball. It's going up. The only thing you have to do, just like with every other club, is strike it well, which means there's a way to deliver it. And that's the nuance of this. Alright? I would, if you like that, with this, I would practice this too. This is just a little heavier and a little stiffer. So for somebody missing the ball right naturally, I think the stiffer you get, the harder it is to get to the left. So based off of logic, but once you start releasing it better, this will move quicker, which means you'll need the stiffer shaft to hold on, right? That's the difference. With your swing today, this is great. It's lighter and whippier. But as you get into more of a stronger delivery, you're going to need something to hang on to it. Like I'm moving the club at like 160 miles an hour, right? So I need as much tip weight as I possibly can to stop my club going. If you're holding on to the angle, you want to hope that club is whipping to catch up. So while your technique is improving, stay here, and as we improve it, go here. All right? Thank you. Easy peasy, right?
Yeah. I'm gonna hang around for a while.
Please
I'll
do.
work on this and
Yeah.
then
Jump at you guys, a couple of music.
we'll get the little guys coming up later.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm gonna clean up I have too many clubs though too, and I'm just like, that's what happens. You know how we do it. Guys just start moving around their equipment